Hello everyone, welcome back to Anime Night. Today I want to talk about Fall 2024 anime season. Wow, what a big surprise for a channel called Anime 9 to actually make a video about anime. Even I am surprised. Okay, enough of the self-irony. This anime season is probably one of the best that I've watched in the recent years. For disclaimer, this is not an anime review, but more of me talking about overall what I feel of anime that I've watched this season. So for a little background, I've basically watched anime or read manga almost my entire life. My oldest memory is watching Doraemon on local TV when I was 5 years old. And growing up as a kid, I walked 5 kilometers twice a week with my older brother to the nearest bookstore so I could read Detective Conan manga. Then in high school in 2013, I met people with the same hobby, and from there I become anime fans, and years later, here I am. But like every other normal person, growing up it's my time, and I just lost some interest to sit down and watch a full 20 minutes of anime. Well, I'm not completely gone or fully stopped from the anime communities. I just spend more time hanging out, talking with friends, or playing video games. But still, I read their news or read manga and light novels, and see a clip here and there in YouTube. But this anime season helped spark my joy back in watching anime. It makes me remember the smile when a new episode released, the feeling of unable to wait for the next episode, and pretty much the whole emotion of watching serialized anime that I've not experienced in years. It's like discovering back an old childhood joy. This all starts with the Twitter. I'm not calling it X, okay? Twitter users have been spamming and celebrating ReZero Season 3, and it gets my interest because I watched the first two seasons. So I decided to check the Season 3. This anime is a chef kiss. It is a crime that it only runs 24 minutes each episode. Heck, the first episode of Season 3 is 90 minutes long. White Fox Studio did not hold back and go all out in making this anime. The seiyuu or voice actor really captivates me. From Subaru's scream in agony to Capella evil laugh, they all bring me to a ReZero world and makes me forget about the real world. Also, to be fair, who will not get captivated by Aoi Yuki's voice? And a truly compelling show that is a prime example about how to show but don't tell. ReZero story reminds me on how Train series handle their story, on how big their world, and how it implies there are bigger secrets in the world, but did not undermine the current incidents that needs to be solved. ReZero really knows how to use the screen time. When a partner does something, it is set up for more and bigger threats or mysteries, making me feel very invested in its frame. They establish a rule of their own world, and they follow it, stick to it while trying to overcome the big threat. You don't suddenly see Regulus lost to the power of friendship or Subaru getting power up out of nowhere. It's all natural. Everything happens due to the cause and effect. Watching Subaru living with this cruel world is why ReZero becomes so many people's favorite. My only problem about ReZero Season 3 is there not more of them. It is so good that its downside is that there should be more episodes. And then, I saw that Netflix releasing the Ranma Half remake, which is my older brother childhood's anime. And I remember that as a child, I read the manga and it's hilarious. I love the anime remake animation style. It truly feels like they take the manga panel and bring it to the TV. It has that old 90s or early 2000 anime feeling. And what really surprised me is that they bring back many of the voice actors from the 80s that voiced the original Ranma Half anime. While I didn't watch the original, the effort to stay authentic deserves a respect. The anime managed to balance romance, comedy, which is hard and can easily bore the viewer if there is no progress in the relationship. Other aspect that I give them respect is the camera direction. So, newer romance series often use a close-up beauty shot of the heroine to show how pretty they are so the viewers would love them. This happened in newer romance anime like in the Gotobun no Hanayome, Amagami and Musubi, or The Angel Next Door Spoils Me. The anime remakes stay true with the source material, using classic white panel to show the romance scenes just like in the manga panel. The anime director clearly respects the source materials and knows what the fans want. They just want to relive their old childhood memories again, but with a little more modern touch. No need full 3D CGI or some new story. We want the same exact one as the manga panel. The director knows the target audience and who have supported the series. It's the fans who have grown up and didn't want complicated stuff. Just the same exact one as the manga panel, but HD. And the director actually gave it. They actually did it. Those people actually managed to catch the old 80s to the 90s era of the nostalgia. And they didn't even play around with too much effect that some anime tend to use. They used the old anime style that used a solid animated character and white background. This anime makes me feel like a child again watching anime from the CRT TV. And then, thanks to the YouTube, I know that the Gun Gale Online is having season 2. I watched this anime in my final years of high school, and honestly I don't really remember much about the series. I only remember that the main character has a complex about being tall and wants to be small and cute, hence why she plays the VR game. Since I didn't really remember what happened in the anime, I decided to rewatch the season 1, and wow, I forgot just how good this series. Gun Gale Online anime is what I wish Sword Art Online would become. I've never been a fan of the Sword Art Online since after the Aincrad because they keep jumping between games and just reset their relationship and development. And that ruins the characters for me. So I heard that the Alicization Request is good, but I haven't watched, and thanks to the Gun Gale Online anime, it actually sparks my interest. So I like how the Gun Gale Online anime is to the point and it plays its strength with its gun combat. The anime is mostly just gunfights with the character developing while fighting. It focuses on the virtual world and only use the real world to move the plot or excuse to get into more virtual fight. Power leveling in Sword Art Online has always been weird to me, especially after the Aincrad where many times they just pull some kind of power or skills from out of nowhere. They establish a rule of power and they just ignore the hell out of it. Which makes a story good is how the character reaches a goal. But when they just pull the goal out of nowhere, the excitement just gone and makes the effort pointless. Meanwhile, the Gun Gale Online character development is actually natural with it being the battle experience. It's just gunfights with more extra flavor, and they get better the more they fight. Hence, while we saw them fight, we also saw them developing their character and power level. Especially the Gun Gale Online Season 2 bringing a much bigger fight with more guns and more action with already developed character. Watching Gun Gale Online is like going to a good steakhouse. You come, they serve steak, it tastes good, not much maneuvering, but that is one good steak. The fourth anime that I watched is Amagami and Musubi. I've been following the manga for a while and I have to say that the characters are very cute. It's been a while since there's anime with so many cute girls. Last I remember it was Gotobun and we pray to Harui for no more severe war like that happen again. Which is funny because Amagami author actually once worked as Gotobun assistant and the Gotobun Amagami pipeline is actually real. If watching Gun Gale Online is like going to a good steakhouse, then Amagami and Musubi is like going to a fast food place. You already know what you want, and then they serve what you expect, and you get what you expect. Amagami is a romance comedy slice of life with many cute girls that at first, they forced to marry someone, and they hate it, but slowly they fall in love with the guy. It's easy to digest, you're having a good time, and sometimes anime don't need to be much complex. There's honestly not much to unpack in Amagami anime since as a base, there's not much that unique, but they try to add a little twist by adding supernatural element. Thanks to the shrine setting, its arc is different than normal romance anime, like getting stuck on the time loop or getting sent back to the past, which give them a unique different kind of set piece, making each story arc interesting and giving them some level of importance with a clear goal that they need to overcome together as a pair by being true to their heart, making their romance progression have more weight and time progression. It makes me want to know what will happen in the next arc, and while hiding the mystery of who will end up as the winner. Clearly, the author learned the lesson of winning heroine while working as an assistant. Cause we remember what happened in the Gotobun, this is probably the most important part of a multi-heroine romance story, where the story can easily stagnate and fans lost interest in the series because we all know the winner, and the author keep prolong the series, which ruined the story like what happened in the Nisekoi. But thanks to the supernatural element showing the possible future, we never know who is leading or who is winning. So they keep tease us with who might be the winner, but not just for attention grabbing with no explanation and leave us hanging. But the tease actually part of how they continue the story, resulting in each arc so much more important for the series finale. And the last anime that I watched this season is Let This Grieving Soul Retire, or I will shorten it to Strange Grief. I've been reading this light novel series since August and I really love it. One weekend I just read them the whole day. The story is like a mix of Konosuba, Overlord, and Eminence of Shadow, where the main character is weak and keeps making problems that somehow result in a win, and everyone looks him as some kind of a genius. It's hilarious and the foreshadowing is just plain incredible. The author likes to make small things happen many chapters ago or even arcs ago, and it snowballs into huge things, and when you connect it, it fits the puzzle and feels really good. The light novel actually wins second place for newcomer literature in 2019, only fall behind the Eminence of Shadow. The anime is like a throwback of early 2000 anime where anime is very niche and we all love and laugh for what makes it good and bad. It feels like Shakugan no Shana or Zero no Tsukaima era anime, so if you are like those old era anime where it's just pure fantasy without much thinking, you will love this anime. So the cartoon can feel one-dimensional but they are not overusing it, and they actually have several more layers of characteristics that sometimes go back to their preset characteristic, so you will have a sense of familiarity but not to the point of getting bored. So if you like those old anime, you will also like Strange Grief. But I do have one complaint to the anime. There's a little too much fan service. Not like it's bad, but the light novel did not have that much fan service, so I just have a little disconnect as a light novel reader. And that's all the new anime that I watched this season. And certainly this season packs a lot of good stuff that I like and I'm excited for, but it also makes me want to see what I've missed. So I've been a big fan of the Detective Conan for years, while I never really followed the anime cause so much episode. I've been reading the manga frequently for years. So I finally decided to watch the Conan movies that I've missed. I'm planning to make a video about this later, so I won't go into too much detail here. So I'm currently in Movies 25 and I really get why it broke 1 billion yen in the cinema in just a couple of days. The quality of the newer Detective Conan movies are so much better than the old ones. The recent movies are really good even if you compare it to the other anime movies besides the Detective Conan movies. They actually learn their mistake over the years and improve it. So if you a Conan fan that have long missed the series, you guys have no problem watching the movies because they're really good at catching you up while telling a compelling story. The movies did start to blur the line between canon and non-canon, so it's a good start for people who want to get back into the series. And that's all the anime that I watched this season. I'm really excited thanks to this season. It's been a long time since I watched this much anime. I don't know about next season cause I haven't looked it up, but it probably will not be as hype as this season. But overall, I'm happy with this season. And that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching my video. See you next time. Bye bye.